special guest, Matt Enos, owner of Pataganja and consultant at Pacific Green Growers. Matt, thank you for being on the show today. How are you?
What's up, Joey? How are you? Good. Thank you for having me.
Man, I'm doing well. I appreciate you being here with us today. I'm excited to learn a little bit about what you do in the Oregon market out there, and also just in the cannabis culture across the country as a whole. For those people that are not familiar with who you are and what you do, would you mind kind of introducing yourself and kind of breaking it down, kind of who you are and what you do?
Sure. Let's see. Oh man, let's see. My day to day, I focus on Pacific Green Growers, which is a propagation company or a nursery here in the Oregon market, and we're focused on genetics and clones as well as flower here in the Oregon market for retail as well as farms is who we support.
So you
Um,
guys, you guys are primarily are you guys cultivating and selling to the stores, or are you guys cultivating clones and selling them to the brands who then sell it to the stores?
we propagate four brands who then
Hmm.
sell those strains to stores, and
Okay.
then also we grow as well as propagate. So we sell flower to retail or dispensaries as in about 150 pounds a month. Uh, Obviously, running an R&D for 80 plus strains that we have in house.
Ooh, that's got to be fun.
Insane, but yeah, a lot of work, a lot of detail.
I can only imagine. So you're the owner of Patagonja, right? Talk to us about how that idea came about, how you kind of fell into creating your own company. It's a consulting firm for cannabis companies. What do you guys do there at Patagonja, and how did that come about?
I've been in sales for about 10 years here in the Oregon market from medical. Um, Started a golf tournament and basically have kept this as just a consulting name for cannabis. I was going to do a regenerative project with somebody, but unfortunately it just fell through. But I kept the name of Pataganja and just kept running with it as my own name, other than
Hey
my
man,
own, and really just as a consultant, just passionate about cannabis.
love
Bringing
it.
it to the market, the retail market here in Oregon. I've stayed here for since Rex obviously opened, and
Yeah.
um, just on the streets all day.
Out in the streets, hustling, selling, propagating, cultivating, doing all the different things. Do you have an aspect of the industry that you enjoy the most? What is it that you actually are like, you know what? Like I love to go and do this part of it every day.
Let's see. I think the biggest or the best, my most enjoyable part of my day is just connecting with farms, understanding exactly what their environment's like, and then really delivering something that we can help them with. It helps them be
Hmm.
successful from a genetics perspective, something that fits within what they're running and how they're doing their deal. Every grower's different, their environment's different, so
I think
running
that's
different
important to
strains.
key on. That's what you just said is super interesting to me because you don't just try to sell the same strains to everybody, right? There's a certain environment, they're running certain things. It has to make sense, right? So talk to me about your guys' style of propagating. You guys are creating some genetics, you're keeping some alive, probably in the deeper in the books, and just keeping some of the best stuff running. How do you guys go about all of that kind of creative process in that area?
Oh, that's great. Let's see. So we obviously have the R&D facility. 9 houses on an acre is basically what we've got. We're a tier 2 here in Oregon. Um, we rotate quite a bit as far as the strains. We provide about 35 per week is what we've got available, at least 100 to 100 on the busy season or busy time of the year. We're propagating 80 to 100,000 clones a month.
Wow.
So for 4 months, we're planning that out. And we obviously have for outdoor, for indoor, we have genetics for light depth, and obviously anything in between that people are running. You got 2 or 3 light depth runs each year here now in Oregon. And so it's super exciting. You got different strains that they have different characteristics, they have different yields at different times of the year. So honing in on all this and learning how we're able to assist different people in different regions, as
Yeah.
well as obviously what their environment is really what it comes down to for us, and focusing on getting better strains in our stable every day.
Yeah.
You know, working with farms to make sure that we have the best cut of what we're representing. You know, we're saying what we have. So working with breeders a ton at this point is really our focus, and making sure that we're highlighting and getting better genetics every day. I think that's my key to success for the future.
So stable genetics. What are indicators of stable genetics? Is it a certain type of strain? Is it terpene profiles, or does it go much more beyond that to the actual? We'll call it, what is it, the biochemistry, or the phenotype kind of things of that nature?
You know, there's so many people with so many different perspectives on this. However, you know, I do know this. I believe that there's obviously some strains that you're going to be able to run in different environments, and they're going to have more susceptibility to challenges. And don't get me wrong, I would say this: cookie strains. It doesn't matter what cookies you run on me, it's very difficult for me to suggest that in a light dep environment. I know that the thin mint and all that washes well, but man, we've got challenges when it comes to some of these breeds. It's not really. It's more about stability within the environment and the stress we're putting on them. You know, in the way I'm seeing it, and so I'm not trying to bash cookies at all when I say this, but they are very finicky from a light dep perspective, and when we're putting it in at 4 a.m. in February in Southern Oregon, and it's, you know, 35 degrees, 40 degrees, but yet the ground's 65 to 70, whatever you want to do. But at night, when you're putting them down at 4 p.m., it's 100. You know, that's a huge difference or fluctuation in degrees. So there's just different stresses on stability within different strains. So that's what I've been seeing.
Interesting. So cookies, the cookies family, it's not just necessarily their brand, just cookies genetics, right? They come from a family genetics. So that's important to differentiate that it's not like you're going to a store buying cuts of clones from cookies brand. Like, that's not a thing anymore. Those days are gone, right? So at this point, what would you say are some of the other strains that are out there that you've noticed, we'll say, are a little bit riskier in a light dep environment?
You know, I think you definitely have light dep. I think in general, everybody's learning it's becoming more popular. You know, definitely more the norm. It's a smart way to use your outdoor lot to, I think you're making more money that way, or to be more profitable. You're definitely creating more flower each year. That being said, I think it all comes down to phenotype and selection. I don't think it really matters what I think obviously more and more we're getting to these folks that want to get it to look like indoor weed outdoor, but
we're growing for customers that are developing habits. We are getting used, like, if you go to a city, right, you go to a big metropolitan city, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see outdoor weed that's from out in the farther parts of the state, right? There are distribution costs for small companies that are hard for them to work through. There's layers and there's barriers to the industry, right? Whether it's Southern Oregon to Northern, or Northern California all the way down to San Diego or SoCal. Like, it's a trip. Those are miles and costs and gas mileage and all this kind of crazy shit, right? And so I know for you, you said today you actually drove up into Portland, right? And you went around a little bit and got some stuff, right?
I did.
What are we working with today? I'm excited to see what that good looks like up there.
All right, let's see. We got. I went to Novik today, which is a partner of mine. They carry a bunch of I actually run through them on most of my indoor strains that I think are going to be successful out in the market. We'll actually have a few partners run them before we get them out there. And this is a strain we created called Oregon Mac, which is Oregon Diesel, and Mac from Cap. Let me find a decent nug.
The Mac nugs are crazy. They've got that classic Mac structure, and then white, purple frosted.
Oh
Yep.
I
See,
can't even show
I
you.
can already tell by that that's a
Can
classic
you see
Mac.
that? I don't know
Yep.
what you see of it, but it's Oregon Diesel Cross, and it's running good in every environment, which I'm stoked on.
Can you give us a good can you give me a good snap with that?
Of course, buddy.
Oh, here we go. This is that ASMR. Here we go. Here we go.
Bam. That's a snap.
Ooh, listen
That's
to
a
that
snap.
healthy snap, man. There we go.
It's pretty fresh still. It has, just they pulled it down like 4 or 5 weeks ago, so it is somewhat fresh, but decent snap on it for that time period, and it's got Oregon Diesel background or notes, which has that blackberry,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and Mac, which is fuel.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more gassy if it
Little
happens to
fruity,
be.
yeah, fruity gas, right? That like
Depending on
humulene,
the
linalool.
depending on the one you choose, right? On the terpene profile you choose from the Mac. We ran from seed, and we call it Mac 5. That's the one we crossed with
The Mac
the Oregon
5.
Diesel. And so we chose the Oregon Diesel structure because we had such a bomb plan of it, or it's just such a good selection, and then it just turned out rad. Everybody from indoor depths, outdoor, everybody's having super success with this strain.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
stoked on it. Yeah.
What are some of the characteristics of the Oregon Diesel? I know people watching right now, Oregon is kind of slept on in terms of, being talked about so much in the media in terms of, oh gosh, it's growing the best weed. It doesn't, there's not a lot of rapper stuff happening out there or celebrity stuff. So you guys are obviously cultivating some really good quality premium cannabis, indoor, outdoor, all of the different varieties of it. What does Oregon what are some of those strains Oregon's known for? And let's start off with this Oregon Diesel. Walk me through what are the lineages on that and kind of what it smells or looks like. What is good Oregon Diesel even like?
Oregon Diesel is, a classic from at least 10, 15 years ago. Everybody asked me if we still have the cut of this, and obviously if I did, I'd love to get it out there from a propagation perspective, but we use this for breeding, and unfortunately we don't have the stock anymore. That being said, Oregon Diesel is a classic Southern Oregon outdoor successful harvesting weed that you get good. It's kind of like a huckleberry raspberry finish on the back end with gas. It's heavy. It's got great structure. It's got solid notes to it. It's just, I love it. Grows in every environment well within the Oregon area. I really
Is it
feel
more of
like
that sativa, like a true sour diesel? Is it more on that body? Because you said the word heavy, and so I'm like, this it's because there's different types of gas, right? There's the diesel gases, there's the funky heavies, there's the piney gases, the gelato gases, right? There's all these different types.
this one leans sativa. It's heavy on the blackberry back end of the funk is what we chose from a flavor perspective. So obviously that's kind of more of a hybrid. It's crazy. Everything's now hybrid, no matter how you look at it. But I'd say that this is a sativa leaning hybrid from the Oregon Diesel side. But then when you brought the Mac into it, I feel like we just brought it into a hybrid.
Yeah. Does does it make you hungry? 'Cause I feel
It's
like
bomb that shit. Yeah.
I feel like blackberry's terpene profiles always get me freaking eating everything around me. I don't know why.
This one, it's just such a flavor. The fuel backing of this thing is amazing. I wish I could give you some.
Hey, here, you can just hand it through. I'll grab it.
I will. I should.
Well, I'm gonna smoke a little bit on this Soulja Exotics. Soulja Boy has been in the news recently a lot in the rap world. He's the first rapper to do all kinds of different shit. So he's unfortunately not the first rapper to have his own weed, but this is some grease runts. So it came from a grower out of the Bay Area called Grizzly Peak. I'm not throwing shade at Grizzly Peak when I say they're not typically known for having the best weed in the world, but this is the best weed I've had from them. So just real quick, just to give you a little idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice, greasy runts is what they call it. It's got that
greasy runts.
Yeah. But the issue is that this was the biggest nug. Everything else was smalls. So it was a $55 bag of smalls. But I got to give it to him because I'm a person, I'm a music fan. When I go to certain concerts, like I bought a Nipsey shirt, RIP to Nipsey, spent $60 on a t-shirt. To me, it's the same kind of thing. It's like for certain artists, if you're a fan, there's this cost association to the brand. I can totally understand how cultivators or propagators or different people from the world of cannabis, how they don't appreciate rappers just coming in, smoking a couple eighths from a couple bags and making a choice. But to me, that's part of the rapper experience. Is it's like now I can, I can be like them. I can smoke how they smoke. I can rap their music or whatever it is. And so, is it the coolest thing in the world? No, it's not. But it's Soulja Boy quality, in my opinion. So to
I
me,
think
this is on brand.
it's killer that he's helping it farm. Obviously in that regard, put something out. It depends on the strains that they use to make that happen. I mean, the runs might be on the smaller side no matter what to make those nugs, most of them more small.
I mean, I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad about the size of the nugs because to me, we both know it's not all about THC. So just because it's a 16, 18% smaller nug or whatever it is, I'm not upset with that as long as the terpenes and the terps are still there in the flavor. And
Right.
that comes from strong genetics and stable stuff. So I always most runts taste like runts. Like even me, I grew runts outside this last winter. We did, and it ended up growing like it ended up growing like a bonsai tree because we fucked up. But it still tasted like freaking runts, like really good runts.
On the Skittles side or what?
Yeah, yeah, it was wonderful. It was like,
That's the
just
right
for
cut, in my opinion, on the run side. If you're getting on that Skittles side, I feel like that's where you got to go. That's the one we have that we're putting out these days for Pacific Green. It's heavy, and we got it from Fire Creek Farms here.
okay.
Really good grower here in the Corvallis area.
There we go.
Killer of him. We got a GMO. Obviously, most people have a GMO. Ours is on the onion side, which is great. Man, we got a few good. Tahiti Lime is the new one we're coming out with this year, which I'm super excited about.
Been hearing a lot about the lime cuts.
Yeah, and so this one, I'm finishing it right now outside. It'll be my first one done, and heavy. Looks great. Super happy with the profile.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. So I guess this kind of leads me to my next question that I have for you. I was thinking, obviously, when you're breeding, you're doing a lot of R&D, you clearly have dispensary partners, right? You've got to have not necessarily an opinion on who actually is the best of the best, but let's give some flowers to the people who are cultivating good flower in Oregon, right? So, who do you feel out there? If someone's going to go to Oregon, they're coming from Cali, they're coming from Washington, they're looking for strong genetics, not necessarily always the priciest of the priciest, but who is putting on for Oregon at the best level in terms of just flower right now? It can be any indoor, outdoor, lighthouse, whoever it is. Who's doing it right?
I will give props to a few companies in each environment. I feel like that might be most fair.
Of course, of course, of
Clients,
course.
some clients, some not. But no matter what, I think from a performance perspective, that's a hell of a question. I think
Because
who's
it's
coming
all
out
about
hot right
quality and
now.
consistency. We're not. It doesn't have to be the best in the. Everyone's got best of the best. Everyone's got an opinion on that one. Kanye versus certain. You can like both. Everybody can like whatever they want. But who do you, as a certified expert in your field, who do you have up there as growing really, really consistent quality buds?
I think Novik is pushing out good flower, great flower. I feel like Resin Ranchers is pushing out great flower. Uh, I feel like from a quality perspective, I've seen Loud come on quick, and definitely bring some quality genetics that they have,
Mm-hmm.
that I think people are liking. I think those are definitely three quality indoors. I think
Hell yeah.
from a depth perspective, I think you got Rogue River, you got Fire Creek. Those are folks that I feel both Southern Oregon and Central Oregon. I think those guys are doing great work. And from an outdoor perspective, I think it's all over the board. But that um, Elvis Benson, I think down in South, he's actually, I think he's putting out some great weed. From a distillate perspective, well, depending on where it runs to, I think is, different. But where we see the flower actually in the shelf on the shelves, as a flower product, those are those that are doing some good work.
Those are
And there's
all,
many
big shout out to all those farmers, man. Big shout out to all their cultivation teams, all the people who help. Hats off to every single one of them, because a lot of work, a lot of effort goes into cultivating this flower, a lot of water, a lot of tarps, a lot of energy, a lot of people showing up early and having to stay late, miss holidays with the fam and do stuff like that to take care of stuff. And so it's big respect to all the people in Oregon. A lot of y'all, man, really created a big part of the cannabis culture, and California gets a lot of the glitz and the glam and the glory for it all. But Oregon's been right there along the way, shipping packs across the world, man, growing some of the best weed.
It's nice to see some of those folks coming up here that obviously feel it's a little expensive to be doing the work down there these days. So we're definitely I know we're quiet around here as far as, being on the scene compared to other markets. But
Florida, New York, Chicago, everyone's always talking about them, man. I love those places, but Portland, Eugene, Bend, Ashland, Corvallis. You've got all the Rogue River corridor down there. It's beautiful. People
everything. Absolutely.
You drive on the freeway.
You got a bunch of passionate. You got a bunch of passionate, knowledgeable humans here that love the plant. It's been a very solid medical market as long as California's has. You had folks from here that left to build other markets, and so it's unfortunate, but obviously we have some of the cheapest flower and just products in general across the country. But I feel like they're also solid. I think we have great products here. People are doing some really good work.
They do. You guys do have great product there. I've visited probably close to 10, maybe 12 times in a 3-year period to do market research and to really learn cannabis, and also to eat in Portland a lot. And this is when they still had the food trucks all over the place. And I just remember I love the deli aspect. I've probably been to 15, maybe 20 dispensaries all across Portland and down into I forget what's south of Portland right there. The other city. What is that? Yeah, just all over the place. We've been. I can't even think of all the different cities because there's so many dispensaries. There, at any point you're just surrounded by them all over.
I can't believe they're continuing to pop up more. But that we're well over 1,000 dispensaries, and the Portland market has majority of them.
So this leads me to my question. What are your thoughts as a business owner, as a consultant? You got multiple clients in the game, in the industry out there. What are your thoughts on the way and how it's set up, and how, if you have any thoughts on a solution? You don't have to go into all the nicks and crannies on it all, but you obviously have an opinion on the fact that they just continue to issue it and open stuff. So,
I think I feel like no matter what, this thing is, when it becomes federally legal, I think that's when everything is going to change for everybody, and we'll all understand what our markets are really about. Without saying too much, I think we don't know really right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Our true numbers. I feel like every state has to be able to produce their own for us to understand really what we're all about. And sure, will black market be around? Sure. I don't really, I stay focused on our side at this moment in time. I'm done kind of on, that whole thing is just not something I'm interested in worrying about. However, I feel like we'll know a lot more as an industry.
Oregon's high risk, high reward out there in that traditional market still too. There's obviously still so much weed that's able to be what's quote unquote backdoored into various aspects of the shipping of the packs or turning it into oils and stuff. But I know Washington and California, it's just still big. It's just always going to be around. And I think the more we legalize and give patients access, when delivery gets legalized out there, when subscription services and these other things start really getting pumped out, we're gonna just see more, and like you said, the federal legalization. We need to see national progress made for sure.
That's where I'm excited, and I feel Oregon's going to be a big player in that. You know, I think we're doing things right. I feel like shipping's going to be a piece of this. They're going to need flower from here, there, anywhere. We're going to have regions that are basically growing different strains best. You know, I think that's just what it's going to come down to. So we're all going to be shipping. But I think that Oregon will have a preservation of obviously some roots in history, and I think that'll be something that helps it along, just like California. Just
like salmon come from Alaska. Salmon come from the Atlantic Ocean. People gonna get weed from Oregon from now
Exactly.
until forever. They're gonna get from weed from NorCal. They're gonna get indoor weed from Cali. Like SoCal, it's gonna be a thing always.
It is moldy here. I will cover that. But dude, we're doing great work here. You know, we have a lot of talented farmers in this state and people that are passionate. I think the most knowledgeable of the plant in a lot of ways, you know.
Yeah.
But these consumers these days are a lot smarter than anybody else.
That's true. The market doesn't lie in terms of the consumer demand. They like their high THC. They like when weed tastes good. They want it to smell good, smoke good, and they want it for less than 50 or 30 and 8. They want it to be as cheap as motherfucking possible.
That's right. That's why maybe Oregon's a good place to travel. Take a trip, have some eats, get some pot. It's a great place to visit.
Let's pivot away from cannabis just very, very slightly. I'm high. We were offline before the show. I was smashing on some salad. I'm out here. I review weed. My next trip to Oregon, you got a couple recommendations, 3, 4 spots on places people have to eat at whenever they visit Oregon. It can be anywhere in the state. Where do people have to freaking eat at when they visit Oregon?
You know, I'm gonna just give you Portland area just because
That's fair.
I feel like there's just too much to cover around here. But you know, oh man, that's a tough question. I think any dispensary that has a food cart next to it's a smart business model first and foremost. If we want to segue into food, I'm down with Lardo. I'm down with Lardo. That is a
I like Lardo.
place to have a sandwich. I
Yep.
love that place.
Familiar.
You got oh, shit. Let's see.
Everybody always people love to say the donut spot that I forget what it's called.
Voodoo Donuts. You know,
It's played out. Played out.
Yeah, no knock on them, but don't go downtown. You know.
I love it. I love it downtown. Downtown reminds me of Seattle.
It's crazy now. It's just unfortunate, but it's definitely a little bit gnarly.
It's gotten gnarlier than the other gnarly days.
Yeah, well, unfortunately these days you drive around and it changes weekly, not for the better. You know, the more you drive around, and we hit these spots every day, you know, and you kind of see them change over time and really not for the better.
Yeah, I feel that I'm blessed to be able to see Skid Row and some of the other hard areas in LA, and I definitely am inspired to try to figure out a way to have cannabis help people somehow.
I agree, man. I think that is something that our industry has got to do better at. I know our tax money's not going anywhere good, and I feel like we should definitely be doing something about this because it's affecting everybody, but definitely our industry too. You know, we're the most unsafest with carrying product or cash, you know, at most times of our lives. So that's kind of something that
there is insurance out there now, but by then it's too late. It's gone. You've already been attacked. You were already in the position. And I know, like, for example, in Washington State, the security guards can't have they can't have you can't have a weapon on the property.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you? Yep, take my stuff. Hopefully, you don't hit me in the face and shoot me as well. It's wild, and that's where you see. And I just saw out here with delivery in California. One of my partners mentioned that they had to cancel their deliveries because for the second time, just in the area, other deliveries had been robbed at gunpoint, and so they just, instead of risking it, they just were like, and it's unfortunate that we're not. One, it's unfortunate that people feel the need to do that because of whatever their circumstances are. And then two, that there's not other things in place to help protect these dispensaries from these massive losses and the risk.
Absolutely. You know, I run a payroll company. I'm starting a staffing firm. Don't want to talk too much about it, but it is it's a bummer we don't have more protections in place, man. From an employer's perspective, and obviously just from a cash perspective, you know, we should be more protected. Period.
100%. I have to go pick up cash occasionally here and there. I'm just in my vehicle, so it's absolutely crazy.
Absolutely.
I certainly don't broadcast it either when I'm doing it. That's for damn sure.
No, I hate even talking about it now, but at the same time, it's.
But that's the weed industry, though. We got to put pressure on these people, man. Like I cannot believe that I'm sitting here right now that I have to go. Like it's part of. Sometimes it's part of my just stuff that I have to do. Now I have no problem going to do it. It's just a matter of doing it the right protective way and having the things in place to have that all happen and to make that easy and less costly versus hard and more expensive. So fortunately, it's set up to be hard and fucking expensive. Everything in cannabis.
It's expensive as hell to do it right from the way your insurance provider wants you to actually.
For sure.
Running a cash truck is not the ideal situation every time for $300.
Let me get the Brinks truck branded with J Ping and Respect My Region, man. Come on, everybody. You get a Brinks truck. You get a Brinks truck.
It's the way to do it. I think that's the most unsolved mystery in our industry so far.
So I got a couple questions about Pacific Green Growers and kind of some of the stuff that you guys do there. So you guys are cultivating with Pacific Green Growers. You're consulting with them, correct?
Yeah. So I'm basically the branding and the sales, as well as obviously just making sure that we're having the strains that are up to market and just really making sure from a cannabis perspective, we're on point.
Perfect. So a combination of operations, marketing, sales, wearing multiple hats.
Multiple hats, reporting to the person that's in charge, making sure that everything's going right.
Perfect.
I got a killer team now. Well, we just finally got a plant pathologist on our team, which is going to obviously help me immensely. And somebody that's smarter than me from a plant perspective, and I love that. Growing for 20-some years, 30 years now, 25 years. I know stuff, but we can always learn more, and obviously a different perspective. And he comes from 20 years in tissue culture, running 3 million square feet of greenhouse. You know, so I'm stoked on that. Exactly. So Florida greenhouse, and that really changes our game. You know? We're here to obviously make sure that we're propagating and being consistent for our farms and having what they want, you know, and having predictability of what those strains are and what they're doing. So it's not easy, but we're focused on making sure we're doing it right.
So helping the growers understand the risks through predictability, which helps with the projections based on yields and potential testing, and if you're in the extract side of things, potential yields from extract situations and all that kind
absolutely of stuff. Strains that wash well, you know, different things of that nature.
Correct.
Depending on what you're doing actually with your wash, you know, there's different strains that will react differently for different purposes, you know, and so those are important aspects to make sure that you're just understanding what the end goal is for the product, you know, and knowing the client.
So you dab, you like rosin, butter, batter, resin? Are you a dabber?
I like, but I love flower. I'm a flower guy first and foremost, as far as dabs, not to, you know, love the dabbers out there.
I saw you with the bong, ripping it.
Yeah, I'm more of a bong, you know, I'll rip the bong all the time. I'm definitely more the flower guy.
We're 30 minutes through. Let's take a smoke. Let's do
it.
Smoke a little sesh 30 for a second. Safety meeting. Everybody stop what you're doing. Safety meeting. Wash your hands, wash your shit, check your shit. Bong. I'm gonna rip this. Here we go. Cheers. And then so I'm smoking on the grease runts. Tastes good, tastes spicy, gassy, and that little sweet runtziness that they get. And then I'm also gonna eat these edibles here.
Yeah.
Pantry. These are Passionfruit Guava jellies. Look at that logo.
Nice.
I like that. It's packaged very cute. It's a heavy jar. Look at those.
Those look good. Yeah.
Passionfruit Guava. Tastes like Hawaii, man. 5 milligrams of jelly.
So eat a few.
Wow. Delicious. Score
Any
out
other
of 10.
flavors?
It's the Passionfruit Guava Jelly. Taste test score out of 10. I'm gonna give this. This is a delicious 9.4. It's delicious. It's got that fruit leather pectin texture. Passion fruit and guava isn't too sweet. Orange and guava. Like I just drank one of the Hawaiian sun drinks, you know? Like those are delicious, super sweet though. This one, a little bit more mild. I like it. The only thing I don't like is how big and chunky the packaging is, but overall, the company, I think this product comes from Gary Vee's agency, the Green Street Group, I think. So, like they're known for, you know, for
How many
branding.
milligrams are in that box?
It's 100 milligrams. It's 20 gummies, 5 milligrams a gummy.
Yep.
And I actually prefer 5 milligram gummies. I like to eat multiple pieces, and 10
Yep.
milligrams does knock me out. Doesn't matter how much I smoke or dab. 10 milligrams makes me sleepy.
Yep.
It's weird.
Edibles for me are midday. I don't know why. Flower all day, all evening, all night.
I just can't smoke flower all day when I'm driving and shit, on the sales grind and all that. Otherwise, for the most part, I would. But you already know, with buddies, I stay on the live resin, which for me, it's either
Yep.
live resin or rosin is the two purest forms for me. So I either try to stay on the rosin carts and rosin dabs, or the live resin carts and the live resin dabs. It's really nothing else.
Throughout the day, that's not a bad way to go. So you can get shit done.
Just to maintain, yeah. Otherwise, you know, you sit here and you smoke gelato or you smoke like OG the whole time. You're gonna get shit done, but you're not gonna get the most stuff done you could be getting done.
No. No. Man, my break just consisted of Novik. They got a strain from Kyle Cushman. Cushman's crossed with Dosey, and it's called
Oh, wow.
Hazard 5 OG, and it's bomb.
So that's what you got right there?
That's what I got right here.
Woo! Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. It's not the biggest nug, but it's bomb. It's good flavor.
No, I can tell that it's a freaking a dosey stuff that it's got that dark, classic, tight, dense bud structure.
Nug. Right. And it's not going to be a big nug, but yeah, It's fire. It's got a pine to it that you just don't usually get. So it's bomb. Hazard 5 OG.
Hazard 5 OG. I love it. Yeah, I smoke a lot of OGs. Actually, here right now, I've got an animal mints. I've got a Kush mints.
Oh yeah.
And a Biscotti mints, all from Seed Junkie, cultivated by Cure Company. And then also tonight here with you, the next joint I'm gonna roll is the PB Souffle.
Who did that?
It's this company is called Blaze Mota. Look at this.
I like it.
Beautiful. Los Angeles grown at the top. It says HO in Los Angeles. Blaze Mota. It's a brown-owned company. Absolutely love it. Was with them the other night. Met them. They put the terpene profile on there, and they also put the lineage on the genetics.
That's killer.
So lava cake times dos for this PB souffle. Yeah. See, I'm not a freaking lava cake Sunday driver. I don't like the linalool humulene terps, but like that much. It's not me. It's not me. I reviewed earlier today. I reviewed their Slurdy 3. This is the Slurricane and Gelato 33.
Yep.
This is that exclusive, not even on the market yet. Whoo, that's that fire, bro.
They got a good cut.
Cowboy cut is what it said. The Slurricane cowboy cut. I don't know who that is, but
yep,
fire.
That's killer. No, that's the way it is, and that's where genetics are everything. You know.
Yeah.
You can truly tell at the end of the day, especially when it's grown right. where
Yeah.
where the profiles are. I think that's everything. The
It's
work.
like you're the person that made the beat, and that's the seed. The beat's the seed, and then the seed goes to the other stuff, to the artist. It's like you got the writer and the music, and you got the rapper, whoever it is. It's like without the person who created all that lineage stuff for whatever's slanging it and banging in the market, like you got to put the name of the everybody. If you're selling weed to dispensaries, you better start putting the lineage, and you better start shouting out who gave you that cut. You better start showing love.
Absolutely.
We got to change the culture. It's not happening.
It's so funny you say that. And if my clients are hearing this, I'm not dogging on you, but how many times have you really posted who you got that cut from? It's important to understand what other people are doing with that same opportunity, right? Or that genetic. And, that's where we're really going to understand what we're doing is when you actually see a chance, like what we got going on down at the Growers Cup right now down in Southern Oregon, what they're about to do. I think it's killer, getting everybody their same cut and obviously judging on it. That is not a bad way to go from a representation perspective. Like, we just need to know who's doing the right work. Who's doing the right work in your environment, who's growing right. That's the key. But having great genetics, obviously we've got things that are it's moving so fast. It's no different than, I mean, not a lot of you, not you probably don't remember telecom and the breakout of, the busyness of 2000, but we're there, there's just so much information and knowledge being able to be had now that we're able to talk about it a little bit more openly, not just in our crew.
100%.
So that's exciting, that we're able to advance these things. I hope we as an industry get better at that for sure.
So when it comes to advancing some of the strains that has either been out there, do you guys you obviously work with different people, you're pulling different seeds, maybe different clones, all these different cuts. People, I mean, the breeders I know are always sending, sharing, doing all pollen stuff, all the crazy shit, right? Right now, what are you personally super excited for that you guys have running, or that this either currently out there in the market and or coming up?
Right now, as far as a flavor that I'm super excited about, I feel like that Tahiti lime that we got coming on. We got a great runts. We got a great Tropicana cookies. I know that's this season, but those are important things for us to have a good stable cut of. I think that's going to run into next year. I think we're obviously going to have lime be popular next year. I don't know why lemons, but I think the classics are coming back. A super sour OG that we've got is super fire that we're bringing back. I think those are the things that are interesting too. At this point, I feel like a lot of people are going backwards as far as getting back to the lineage. Obviously, there's a ton of pollen chuckers out there. From us, we love to work with breeders. We love to make sure that we got the right cut of something and the right representation. That's important for us as far as giving it to the client. And the more we could do that, the better off we are, but breeders sometimes see us as competition, and so it's kind of tough because we propagate and they're selling seeds, so it's kind of tough. But at another angle, if they don't have to pay for a license to be in the market and they can work with me and I can work with them and make sure that they visit and they're doing work with us and we're getting the right cut out to people, I feel like that's the best opportunity and option for everyone, consumer included.
I agree. If more communication, more collaboration, more science, the ability for more collective data to be had, shared, distributed, learned, digested, I envision everybody taking leaps and bounds forward from an agricultural perspective.
Absolutely.
I think without any doubt, when you look at all the stuff that's happening in traditional agriculture, which I don't know that much about, but considering the fact that traditional agriculture is in most major universities to some degree, and it's well known with millions and billions of dollars being spent on just the educational side of that, with tons and tons and tons of college graduates pouring into that industry, I would think that the cannabis industry would want to take notes from what is successfully happening over there and then pull that over here, right? And that is data, highly educated people, a lot of biology, a lot of chemistry, a lot of science, a lot of math.
And that's what the team at Pacific Green is 30 years tissue culture, you know, and a lot of basil and orchids and different things. So that's where I come in cannabis and really just want to make sure, and you know, I'm the market's voice, I'm the consumer's voice, to make sure that we're all getting everything right.
All right, here we go. That's that PB souffle.
Yep. Are you sure that's not peanut? What did they say it is? Are you sure that's not peanut butter bread?
It says PB souffle.
Yeah. What did they say that cross was again?
The lava cake dosido. And to be real, it's definitely a dosido. Look at that one.
Yeah. That looks like the same structure. I just hold up.
Lava cake, and then dosido in the same jar, right?
Man, lots of lava cake, lots of ice cream cake this year. That's for sure. You'll be seeing a lot of that.
Ugh, I'm so tired of the lava cakes.
It's kind of funny to see, you know, I know what's happening in the market before it happens, you know, like the season, I know who's getting what, you know, or what.
I know, that's what's so funny.
It's quite funny. So
that's why I'm gonna start having we are gonna launch I want to launch a series, and maybe you can help me bring this to life by helping set up a bunch of you guys and your friends in Oregon and all the crazy breeders out there. But we're gonna launch a series. I'm gonna throw it out there. We're gonna call it Fantasy Strain Factory. So I always want to interview and talk about people's stories. We always want to do that, right? And learn and talk about what your opinions are and what's going on in the market. But at the end of the show, which we are approaching in the last 15 minutes, I want to talk about some of your favorite fantasy potential strains, right? It's like if you could create a player, if you could take all your best of the best or 2 to 3 and bang them together, and what it would look like, what that smell might be. And so this is the fun part is like, we're high, I've been smoking, you've been smoking. Let's create some strains together. And this part is the fantasy strain factory part. So if you had to
sorry, go ahead.
No, if you had to create one, what would the first one be?
Well, I know I'd want Neville's Haze in there. I'd want the real cut of Neville's Haze. And I think that having a skunk one with that would be an ideal place to start for everybody from a lineage perspective from breeding.
Okay.
That right there is one. Yes, I'm old school, but that's one that I think is huge.
So skunk one, Neville's Haze?
Yeah. I think that's one I'd take. That would be rad.
Just the super crazy sativa hybrid.
Just a huge profile, and making sure that that would be ultimate to start with.
Okay.
Another one that I would like to see is a lot of that classic Kush come back from LA. Mm-hmm. You know, I miss that. I definitely feel like that 805 area had some good Kush. You know, some good. And if anybody from that Alien era down in 714 remembers that, I think that was killer. So I'd say those two. The classic OG. I'll go Bubba.
Ooh, love a good Bubba. Big, bulky nugs, that dark green.
Yeah, I'm into the classics. I would definitely like that, you know? I think that that would be my second. That's my second flavor I'd like to make.
So a Bubba Kush, just a classic fire Bubba Kush.
No,
maybe
crossed. What the hell did I just say it was crossed with?
Well, did you want to just mix a couple OGs? 805,
Bubba and Alien.
Bubba and Alien.
Yeah,
ooh, Bubba and Alien.
An Alien OG. That would be a killer cross. Obviously, that's another Southern California story. And then there was, there's another one.
What would you call that one? Come on, man. You've named so many strains.
Holy shit! What would I name that strain? Alien.
It's the fantasy strain factory, baby. What would you name it?
I mean, I'll get you on that. I will know. Hold on. I gotta take a look. I'll figure it
You gotta rip
I'll
it.
figure this
Hey,
out.
smoke break, smoke break. We need some inspiration. We need some inspiration
Bubba
here.
and Alien. They could
Oh
not
man,
be. They
Bubba
just
and Alien.
Bubba and Alien. I can't say the Bubalian. That would just be lame, you know. So I'm
What's
gonna
that?
smoke on some Morgan Mac. It's bomb. Keep me going for a minute.
What was the What was the name of that? What's in Waterboy? What was his name?
The
Forget
hell,
his name.
Adam
God damn.
Sandler is Waterboy.
Yeah. What was his name in that movie? I'm forgetting. I'm thinking about naming it that something. That guy's
I
name.
have it on the tip of my tongue. Oh my gosh, I had suggested Ricky Bobby the other day to somebody as a
Ooh.
strain name, but that's not him. Shit. What's the name of
Nah,
that
hey,
guy?
Ricky Bobby OG would be a good one too, though.
Yeah.
Alien OG and Bubba, like
What is
that's a
his
good one.
name in that movie though? I forget. Anyway, yeah.
And then you said Neville's Hayes and
Neville's Hayes
Neville's Hayes, and
and
what was
a class and a
the skunk one?
that's another one.
Those are two. Those
You
are
know,
really
there's
good.
so much debate right now going on about that skunk one. It's insane. It's crazy. I just wish we could all understand where this was true and not have people look for fame. I don't
What's
know
the
who did
drama
what.
surrounding the skunk one right now?
Oh man, there's just two parties going after who created it, type of thing, and what is the true lineage of it, you know. And it's like, I'm sure both of you have a really true story on this, but just can you be honest with us and let us know what's up?
Yeah, and was it even possible? Like everybody always says, I was the only person growing this and this and then, and it's like you're saying that nobody else thought like you over in the other part of the country, even by chance?
Man, I
Like,
mean that NYC diesel from New York, right? Like that's a bomb cut, you know?
isn't that an example of sour diesel leaving over here and going over there and being created, right?
Exactly, and doing better. I think, you know. I mean, that's exactly where I think that if we can be honest and communicate, I think we're going to learn a lot more in this. Leafly is somewhat of the answer. You know, they tried, but we just, you know, to get further along with this, nobody knows what they're really growing in these days. Unfortunately, you know, we got to get more knowledge. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. So you chose the haze and the skunk, and I really enjoyed that the reasoning behind that. I think those are great. Haze has a really strong terpinolene, limonene, pinene profile typically. Obviously, it has more, but those are the ones that are the most prominent typically. And then what was the other one on the OGs? Obviously, pinene, limonene, and some of that caryophyllene in there, right? And
That piney is what I'm after most you know, you know, that's a key to me. The skunk's just a good one to work through. It just has the right lineage. For me,
I feel like skunky weed also it has that nice beautiful shimmer to it. Like it's just like it's just like a good strain to grow, kind of strong, this good nose, it adds on to the other stuff.
absolutely.
It's like a base,
Um,
right? A good base.
we've been doing some work on, you know, we've been selling some encapsulator strains out there in the market. Some of it's we've selected some of the stable. Some of our most stable is through his work. So, you know, um, it can come from anywhere these days. I
Interesting.
like Mac. I like that profile. I think some of the selections I've seen aren't as terpy as I'd like, but some are. You know, there's some cuts that are great.
Interesting.
Um,
And how do you differentiate between the Macs, right? You've obviously smoked through a bunch of different phenos. You saw them in the various grow stages, right? What is a standout Mac look like to you?
you know, there's two leaners. You got the lemon, right? Or, you know, basically, I think you got two choices. You got more of a lemon profile, depending on your weight and what you want, and then you have more of a purple, you know, hue to it with less. And I don't know if there's a less of either profile, but you just, you know, you choose your stability with, you know, or your selection with, you know, the structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And making sure that the profile's there on what you're looking for. We could not choose. We kept both profiles and just offered them to both.
That's
So,
a good.
and
Hey,
then we
test it.
bred,
Let the market
and we
decide
bred
if
with
if
the
they're both
one that
fire.
had a little bit of both,
Yeah.
So we had 3 running for a while there, Mac 3, 4, and 5, and it's just that got to be too much, right? But at one point, it's just hard to lose some of these genetics. They're so good, some of these things are coming out well.
So for Pataganja, you're the owner of that company. You launched it. You wear multiple hats. Got to do. You're doing sales, marketing for Pacific Green Growers, their client, right? A day in the life of a cannabis industry person. There's a lot of people out there trying to get in there. Can you walk people through how difficult some days really are in the cannabis industry? How many random fires honestly can pop up doing all these different things, right?
Yeah, it's a gnarly day. No day is the same. You just got different issues, different things to deal through all the time. A day in the life is obviously just pushing different product every day, all day to different dispensaries,
Mhm.
or end users or just different buyers in general, having flower side and then also the plant side, we're able, to stay busy year round and
Yeah.
obviously be able to be in front of both the retail side, which is key for us, as well as the farm and support them, so that obviously it's more indoor focused during this season. Everybody's kind of slowing down. Some people are running their dep still and they'll be in ground for a minute. We're going to have another dep run down in Southern Oregon in January. Crazy enough, people are running a third run in their season now, so there's no
Wow.
downtime. There's no downtime. It's just continuing R&D and making sure and figuring out that next move before someone else does and making sure our shit's clean. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. And that's a hard enough day every day. We got a team of like 20 that just run around making sure that all the plants are looking good. It's tough.
Yeah.
Propagation is not easy. It's not a simple game. It's why a lot of farms struggle with it. But it's nice to support people and be able to help them understand that they can utilize their space differently,
Yeah.
and get more production, out of their space and their license.
So you guys can go into their facilities, into their properties, consult them in a variety of ways, kind of help them become more efficient, improve different grow processes. Maybe you obviously can't guarantee probably yield improvements. That probably is not something that most people like to guarantee, but you could probably lean towards that direction when you think about genetics times operational process improvements.
Absolutely.
Things like that.
That's what I'm seeing every day is just making
Yeah.
sure that I'm helping people be successful, in what their environment is. And that's truly, dependent on so many factors. You just got to make sure that you're giving them not just your best guess, but really the knowledge you have for what the plan is, what what their environment is lending them, and depending
Yeah.
on the situation. So we've helped hundreds of farms make sure that they're thousands over the years, but hundreds a year, make sure that they're running our stuff, our gear.
That's super exciting, man. Congratulations on your guys' success and being able to support the industry like that. It's, to some extent, you guys are definitely a part of the backbone of what's happening, being able to provide the starting points for a lot of these farms to get and take it the rest of the way and produce a product for patients. I'm a patient. A lot of people talk about patients first and over profits and things like that. It's important that, humans like yourself do provide genetics that take care of certain things and certain people in the industry. You mentioned, the classic strains coming back. Blue Dream, one of the reasons why medical cannabis got approved was PTSD. Ask all the veterans how much they love Blue Dream and blueberry cuts. It's very important that we continue keeping classic genetics around that people are comfortable with. that the risk has already been proven to have been mitigated because people like it. It sells, the returns, the yields, whatever it is. It's not just the Blue Dreams and the Glues out there either. It's the Granddaddy Perps. It's the OGs, like you were saying.
The
Respect.
CBDs, the different ratios, the ACDCs, everything. Everybody
I
has
actually
different.
have. Look at this. I've got a 1-to-1 right here.
Yeah, exactly. And those are, they're the critical mass. Those are all important to our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Big, huge, super huge.
Yeah.
Well, before we get you on out of here, I'd love it if you would take your time to kind of just talk a little bit about what you guys have coming up, any shout outs, any any of your guys' social media info, any of that kind of stuff.
Oh shit. Just look for our flower. We've got plenty of different strains and flavors coming out for the dispensary side through the season. And we've got 13, 14 new flavors that'll be on our menu for next year. We're cutting some off and bringing some new flavors on. So we're super excited about that. We got a great cut of runs that's going to get out there to the people. Any farm or retail can have a solid cut of runs that everybody's after.
That's super dope.
And, there's about 15 different profiles like that we've got coming out. So I'm super excited about that. There's probably 10 unknowns still. Fast finishers are something you're going to find from us, this year a lot more of. And we're also going to be finding Bio 365 as far as, and known, we will be doing an auto flower propagation deal to where we're actually selling auto flowers for the first time, planted, ready to go, potted. And so that'll be the first of its kind, I think, from a propagation perspective as a license. So I'm excited about that. I think those are new things
Nice.
coming out that are exciting. Yeah. So, there's a lot on our plate, but those that's a snapshot of a few things. I shout out to Botanical Labs for running our gear. Thank you. It's rad. It tasted, the flavor was rad. The honeycomb's awesome. Sorry, I know you're with buddies, so I didn't want to do too much on that. But
no, what do you mean? You were okay, man. This is all about uplifting the whole culture of the community. You know what I'm saying, buddies? Buddy, we work with a lot of different farms. And this podcast being an RMR episode, I'm very excited to show love to all of your partners and to give respect to all the people that you showed love to. So, big love and respect to the Oregon culture, my man. Matt Enos, I appreciate your time and being here tonight. This was episode 20 of the North American Weed Tour podcast, officially 20. We are a quarter of the way through the tour. We have 3 more months of podcasts, of interviews. Matt, I look forward to talking with you again. I would love to revisit a conversation with you in a few months and potentially talk with one of the partners that you have that is growing some of these cuts that you're putting in the market, and maybe even selling some of them too if you have any retail partners that we can bring on. So
of course, absolutely, we'll work any way you can together.
Hey, whatever we can do to support the Oregon community. Oregon, reach out. Portland, reach out. Bend, we want to talk with you guys. We want to showcase y'all. Please tap in. You guys can drop a comment. You guys can reach out directly to info@respectmyregion.com. Reach out to Matt if you guys need anything from us as well. We will stay connected. Matt, we're definitely going to get some more content going about this as well. So please follow up, and I'll be following up with you as well. Everybody,
thanks for your time.
Thank you. Everybody, episode 20. Go follow Pacific Green Growers. Go follow at Pataganja. Tap in, visit his website, check out his runs cut if you visit Oregon, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much, Matt. Again, appreciate you guys. Peace.